We all wish that if we were transported to the 41st millennium, we'd be a space marine or some other great hero. But let's face it, we would be one of the downtrodden, a menial, a face in the crowd. So today, we are going to talk about the worst jobs in the Imperium from the perspective of those workers. These stories aren't canonical, since the stories of the average worker are rarely featured in the books. This lack of exposure itself talks to the devaluation of the average man in this grimmest era. The following is instead inspired by snippets of lore from various books and novels. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tech Menial. The familiar chant echoes through your mind every day. Working the line all day. The chant was passed from your father's father to you. Everyone working the production line at Facility 54 Zeta knows it. It's a common song of the people who work this 20-hour shift. 20 hours was only ever meant to be a wartime measure, but it seems you've been at war for a very long time. The overseers don't like the song. They say it causes a 0.2% drop in efficiency. Recently, a lot more people have been disappearing from the line. Apparently, they're running out of servitors. You know that one day you'll be dragged off to be lobotomized too, but for now you're needed here. When you're not working, you're either sleeping or eating, though all they serve you is corpse starch, the ground-up remains of other humans, likely old colleagues. You make sure on the short walk between your sleeping quarters and the factory that you're part of a group. You're less likely to get stolen away by some Magos for an experiment that way. The air of a forge world is noxious. Every day your lungs burn from the pollution. Any complaints you make or requests for rebreathers are met with the same mantra. The flesh is weak. You can never hope to get any bionics, and there is no promise your life will ever get any better. Any who resist or try to strike are marched away to be lobotomized, and not being a part of the priesthood of Mars yourself, you can never advance. You could join the Scutari, but that is little better than being a servitor. Years of this crawl by. You start coughing up blood, your spine begins to warp, and every living moment is filled with subtle pains and aches. Your pace on the line starts to slow. You know it's coming soon. They're going to take you away, as you've seen so many before you. One day on your walk home, a man comes up to your group. He slips you all flyers and hurries off. A strike. Another attempt at reducing hours. Another hopeless endeavor to get the priests of the cog to give you medicine and clean air. This is your best hope to escape your doom. So you go. Workers speak, jeer and cheer, calling for the basic fundamental rights of man. The movement slowly grows, more strikes are organized, and the reprisals are severe. You've seen your friends gunned down en masse by radiation weapons, their blood brought to boil as they elicit final anguished cries, all while the thundering of Scutari marches on. Yet you've made gains too. The line has fallen silent, the overseers are dead, and if the Mechanicus wants production back up, they'll have to come to the table and deal with you. But they never do. Some Magos has a new bioweapon he's been wanting to test, and your modest insurrection is the perfect subject. One night, the weapon is let loose. It creeps through the vents. Thousands die in seconds. Their lungs turn to liquid in their sleep. Desperate and coughing, you haul yourself along the floor, hacking and spluttering. All you wanted was shifts to go down to 16 hours a day, assurance you wouldn't be murdered at a Magos' whim, and air filtration systems. The Magos will take this incident as another reason to begin partial servitorization of the entire menial workforce. Clearly, this is another example. The flesh is weak. In all that haze, in all that burning air, you see something. A pale creature, grinning. It speaks to you, its mouth moving out of sync with its utterance. It can take the suffering away. It can bring back your dead friends. It can ensure the tech priests of this world rust away to dust. All you need to do is shake its disease-ridden hand. Your vision blurs. You don't have long. You reach out. You take the creature's hand and shake. The last thing you hear is the demon's bellowing laughter. You and your brothers shall arise soon into your new life in the Grandfather's great cycle, and another Imperial world will fall. Voidsman. You never asked to join his holy navy. You never wanted to see the stars. Not that you have seen any stars. You haven't even really seen any light since you were dragged, kicking and screaming from your slum by the armsmen. They beat you with shock mauls till you passed out. When you awoke, your world was dark. You were tasked with the maintenance of Access Tunnel 247C Delta. Your world is small, claustrophobic and hard. Every day you haul yourself through this tiny square tube, checking wires and plugs, making sure nothing comes loose and everything is secured and blessed. They say you're paid well for your work, though you've never actually seen any coins for it. The only time you exit the dark and cramped world is to eat and pray. You pray 3, maybe 4 times a day, the eyes of the ship's commissars scanning over you, searching for any signs of mutation, malignancy, or malcontent. You've lost friends to this man, executed before your very eyes with a swift bolt from the commissar's pistol. You always keep your eyes down, focused on the flavorless bowl of gruel. The labor isn't backbreaking, but it's hot and tiring. Though that's not the worst of it. There's other things in these tunnels. Men have disappeared in these pipes. You found bloodstains when groping around in the dark, heard things moving about, a soft hissing in the black. But that's still not the worst of it. The worst is when the ship makes a warp jump. When you enter the warp, you go for mass prayers. The commissars watch over you like towering judges. The priests scream their devotions to the Emperor. You clutch your hands together and pray, desperately reciting the words because they're your only hope against what comes next. Yet, you can still hear them in the dark, in the quiet, in your dreams, the scratching, the gnawing, the whispers of pleasure and promise. All you can do is keep yourself busy and try not to listen to the things at the back of your mind. They're always there, always hungry. All you can do is pray the Gellerfield doesn't go down. Administratum Scribe. The same repetitive sounds echo through you. You've been an Administratum Scribe for 5 years now, and you're already dead to those sounds. The typing, the endless typing. Thousands of you are crammed into this room. Overseers prowl the cubicles like hunting dogs, sniffing and snarling at any who slacken at their pace. Your job is to make copies. Reports come in, you retype them up and send them off to storage. Each shift is as grueling as it is banal. The Administratum is a great grey blob pushing down on you, causing you to hunch over your auto-scriber. You're not paid badly, but you're always too tired to do anything when you get home. So you collapse in your small hab onto your cot, where even in your dreams you can hear the clicking of keys. You heard a story once of a scribe who went mad, clawing off his ears so he no longer heard the clacking of those keys. The days blur together in undifferentiated grey. You think you got promoted at some point, but you can't be sure. All the forms smear together. All you do is shuffle back and forth between your desk and your home, glassy-eyed, your mind filled with the clattering. That endless cacophony. It hollows you out. Leaves nothing but a husk. Your fingers are stained black from the ink. Your skin is pale and as papery as the reports you write. You've been mistaken for a corpse more than once. But the reports don't stop. There's always more copies to be made. One day they find you slumped over your auto-scriber. The overseers crack their whips, yet you don't respond. They go so far as to lash your flesh, tearing open your hunched back and grey robe. And you just lay there. Finally, one of them grabs you, hauls you up to see your vacant stare and slacked jaw. They start screaming at you, still not realizing that you died minutes ago. Your final words slowly dry on the parchment of your auto-scribe. It's part of some report to send supplies to a beleaguered guard regiment. Due to your death, it will never be completed in time. In all likelihood, a whole world will now burn. People will make wise cracks about your incompetence, like they wouldn't have clawed off their own ears after 5 minutes of work in here. Your body is burned. Your name forgotten, and your apartment given over to the next soul to be condemned to this grey hell. Agri Worker. One would think the 500 worlds of Ultramar would be a light in the darkness, a place where humanity can actually find some peace in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. It can be, but not for you. The realm of Macragge is built on the cracking of whips. You work in the fields all day, scrambling to meet your quotas lest the overseer be brought upon you. You don't own the land on which you work, and the state effectively determines what your crops are worth. You have to wonder what the real difference between you and a slave is. Your labor is backbreaking, and the chemicals you work with are some of the most hazardous in the Imperium. The planet you call home was once In the distant past, host to a plethora of environments, diverse ecosystems bustling with life beyond your wildest imagination. Now it's nothing but farmland, from one horizon to another, fields upon fields of crops. The atmosphere is choked with nitrates. Your days are long, and you conclude each and every one of them with an unceremonious collapse into your hard bed. You will never see the worlds that you feed. But you are not alone. You have a wife, a sense of connection, something human that the Imperium can neither take from nor grind out of you to grease the cogs of their war machine. Or so you thought. One day you're working in the fields with her, and she slows. She's tired. You both are. You've both barely eaten. The overseer catches her slacking and raises his whip. Her screams tear through you, but he doesn't stop. The whip comes down again and then again. She's on the ground, her blood and tears mixing with the putrid fertilizer. The overseer sees you watching. You're not working. He turns his whip on you and opens a gash down your face in an instant, taking you to the ground and making you howl in pain. The whip rises and falls, each crack causing you to flinch, each crack causing her to scream. The overseer snarls. She can end this. She just needs to behave and fulfill his desires. She says no and the whip retorts. He advances on her. You have to do something. You have to. You pick up a rock and in incandescent rage, you end him. You try to run, but there's no escape from the enforcers. They give you a simple choice. The guard or servitorization. A fate worse than death. To have all agency ripped out and replaced with machines. To stare out of lifeless eyes, entombed in the depths of your own mind, screaming in silence for decades or centuries to come. Your father was in the guard. He taught you how to shoot, and he made it through. Maybe, just maybe, you can too, and maybe you can see her again. Maybe there's some hope. They tell you that you're going to a world called Calth. Unlike every other story we've told you in this last one is canon. The man you just imagined yourself as is called Raud. He was a sharpshooter stationed on Calth during the Horus Heresy. Raud never made it home to his wife. You have to wonder why he stayed loyal, why he never defected. The Imperium treated him with sheer disdain. The Ultramarines are his direct oppressors. Yet Raud made friends with one of the most famed Ultramarines to ever live, Aenid Thiel. We think part of it is that Raud saw the true face of chaos on Calth. He saw the monsters it makes of men. He watched wordbearers murder innocent people to empower themselves. He saw the same cruelty and greed the Overseer exhibited, magnified 100 times over. Another part was his forlorn hope. He wanted nothing more than to make it home to the woman he cared about. Raud, like so many of us, doesn't have great ambitions to change the world. He simply wanted to make it to the other side, to do his job and spend time with the people he loved. This system of boundless oppression pushed him past what I think any of us could stand, and he stepped out of line. You can see how the Imperium counts on this. Many, like Raud, who break under this oppression, aren't given the choice of servitorization or the guard. They are mutilated into servitors without a second thought. Servitors run the processing for the Imperium's sewage systems, load their cargo, fire their guns. Any utilities computers afford us are substituted with servitors in the Imperium, and more. You might be wondering if there's any hope for the average worker of the Imperium. The jobs we've listed here are broad and encompass a lot of the work the Imperium does. Workers' unions form often in 40k, but they end up exploited, being corrupted by the ruinous powers, violently suppressed, or even being infiltrated by gene-stealer cults. If you think that the nobles of the Imperium will make the lives of the average citizen in the Imperium better, we suggest you look out the window. Guilliman won't save these people. Raud was a worker under Guilliman's rule, and look what his life was like. The way the Imperium treats its workers has time and time again proven to be a weakness. During the Siege of Terra, masses of conscripted workers turned on the defenders due to cruel working conditions. And these conditions are what allow Genestealer and Chaos cults to fester. It's what allows the Tau to turn worlds to their cause. Unless the Imperium improves the lives of its people, it is bound to fall. And most likely, with humanity along with it. Behind every paragraph and reference in these videos, there's a mountain of research, editing, and more than a few burnt-out cogitators. That's where our patrons come in, with multiple tiers offering a variety of things, from exclusive chats in our Discord to personalized artwork created for our individual patrons. Every subscription keeps the machine spirit of the Astartes Anonymous YouTube channel appeased. And for our top-tier patrons, a display on the Wall of Honor at the end of each podcast. So if you're enjoying the content, please do consider taking a quick look at our Patreon. Thanks so much for watching.
You are to be reassigned to sanitation duties.
That is the work of a servitor.
The servitor's augmentations are put to better use in other duties.
If you restore my sight,
Your petition for augmetic replacement has been denied.
I still have use without my eyes.
Correct. They will not be required for your new duties. Septic dives must be conducted blind.
There must be something. Anything else I can do.
Are you volunteering for servitor conversion, Menial?
No. I will report to the sanitation master.